Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great. How about you?
I'm good. I can hear everything.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited too. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course. Let me,
Yay.
I'm
What-
clearing up my screen here. I have so many things popping up. Okay, there we go.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Where are you calling from? Like what part of the world?
Yeah, Richmond, Kentucky. It's near Lexington.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so you're on East Coast time.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. And how was your walk this morning?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, I always feel like when I go for a walk just by myself, the ideas come a lot easier and I just feel better all around. So it was like, I think today's a good day for that. It warmed up a little bit, so all good.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Well, why don't I just kind of give you like the lay of the land so you understand kind of how these sessions go.
Mhm.
And I am recording, so just so you know. I started recording even before you came in the room because sometimes I forget and then it's like we're 10 minutes into the conversation. I'm like, oh. Um,
Yeah.
so, but if there's anything like that come like I can always edit. Like if you say something, you're like, oh, I didn't want that to be public, like just tell me and I can always make a note and like edit that out. It's totally
Sure
fine.
thing.
So I'm just gonna treat this like a regular coaching session. So we'll have an hour together and it'll just be time for you to kind of share what's going on in your life, in your job, in your heart, like whatever comes up. And oftentimes people will be like, oh, sorry, that's like complicated, or like, oh, that's like a lot. And it's really not. It's like, even if something feels like random or feels like disconnected, it usually is like coming up for a reason. Um, so my job will be basically to listen, to reflect back,
Mhm.
and then, help us figure out what our area of focus is,
Mhm.
and then help to facilitate like an answer for you or some level of clarity for you, even if it's like we don't have to figure out every answer today, but we can
Mhm.
get a start. you know
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
and I'll like I have a notebook, like I'll be taking notes. My phone is off, the cats are away, so well, the cats are in the room, so
All
um
right.
but yeah, why don't we just start with maybe high level, like what you were hoping to discuss or kind of like what's on your mind today.
Sure, absolutely. So, I was actually journaling this morning and was like, I'm gonna trust that Mandy knows her stuff and can deal with everything I'm about to just like throw out. Because I was like, I feel like there's so much. But um, in one sentence, I want to find meaningful, sustainable freelance work.
Okay.
And I've been freelancing for about a year and also been watching your channel for about a year. I think I found you around the same time because I was in that season of like, how do I do this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so I started in April of last year and started to have, some really slow but steady momentum. And then around October, November, things just suddenly dropped off. I lost several clients at once.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been struggling to get work again. And over the past couple weeks, I've started to finally get some stuff going.
Okay.
But it's been a challenge for me and also brought up a lot of questions about what is it that I want to be doing? How do I price myself sustainably? How do I find the clients that I want to work with? So my three biggest challenges are positioning, pricing, and finding clients.
Okay.
That's
Um,
about as succinct as I can make it. Of course, there's a lot more,
no,
underneath.
that's like honestly, that's so amazing. It's like, you know, the way you framed it is super clear.
Okay.
Um, okay, so you said about a year ago you started freelancing.
Mhm.
Just for context, like what were you doing before that?
Yeah, so before that, I worked for a nonprofit,
Okay.
and my position ended in 2024. So I got a 90-day notice, which is pretty generous. But it ended like December 31st, 2024. This was before the like mass layoffs that came. So
Okay.
I was completely just like not expecting it at all. And I spent a little bit of time doing like the traditional job search, trying to find something else and just not really getting anywhere. I would get interviews and then it would stop there. Or I actually got one offer, but the pay was like so low that it was like what I was making 10 years ago straight out of
Okay.
college. And I was like, I just can't do that
I just
right
can't.
now.
Okay.
Um,
What were you doing at the nonprofit? Were you a writer, doing marketing, like what were you doing?
yeah, so my job was pretty much web copywriting for the website.
Okay.
I wrote a newsletter. I handled communications for a partnership. So we had several organizations that were in a partnership, and I handled communications for that. So it
Okay.
was a lot of communications, copywriting, and content management.
Okay. Okay. Um, and then is that similar work to what you do as a freelancer? Like you'll work with a client and help them do their copywriting and any communications and things like that?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So take me to the point in like April last year where you said to yourself,
Mhm.
like, you know what? Like I'm gonna freelance. I'm not gonna try to find a traditional 9 to 5. What was that thought process like for you?
I had come across a YouTube video that was like the easiest side hustles to start or something like that.
Yeah.
And one of them was freelance copywriting. And I was like, I think that's something I want to look into. Um, and so I got onto a job board and started applying, and it took about a month before I got my first client. But then, like I said, I started to build a little bit of momentum, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this full time.
Yeah.
Um, but basically, I enjoy the freedom that it gives me, being
Hmm.
able to make my own schedule, and quite frankly, not having a boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that something you wanted, like you've like had in the back of your mind for a while? Like that one day I want to like work for myself and do my own thing, or was this like a new idea?
I feel like it's always been there at some level since college that like I want to one day do something where I'm in business for myself and not working for somebody else, but it was very vague and very like just, a dream in the distance kind of thing. I never had a solid idea of what I wanted to do or how that would come about. So I kind of took this like period of unemployment as like, okay, there's nothing to lose. Let's try this freelance thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think
Okay.
I've always had that desire to like be my own boss kind of thing.
Okay, great. Okay. So, and are you doing any like I'm just thinking like what else is taking space in your life? Like are
Mhm.
you still contracting for a company, or is it 100% like in terms of your work life, like how is the pie split, or are you just 100% focused on the freelancing stuff?
It's all freelance right now. I have several clients. One of them is a organization, and then a couple of them are just individuals, like individual people,
Okay.
that have
Okay.
projects that I'm helping them with. And
Which do you like better?
I have So I found that the pay is better when I'm working for an established company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure, sure, sure.
Like, I guess because they have a budget, it's not coming out of their direct pocket kind of thing.
Yeah,
But I sometimes like working with individuals too because I get to help them with something that's meaningful to them.
yeah,
But the challenge that I found there is that a lot of times people will kind of like not reply once I give them my pricing, or
Oh, I
they'll
see.
just
Okay.
choose the cheapest thing. And so sometimes I feel like maybe working with an individual isn't the most sustainable route unless they have, money to invest in a freelance partner and that kind of thing.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, let me just look at my notes for a second. I'm
sure.
just gonna try to absorb what we've discussed.
Yep.
Okay, when you think about when you think about like your near future, do you see this as a destination or do you see this as like a pit stop? Are you like, I wanna like this is it, like I feel like I want to freelance for a long time, or are you kind of like, I'm just doing this so that eventually I can, go back to a more traditional job? Like what are you sensing?
I do want to make this a long-term career. And maybe eventually start like a media company, like a small independent media company or something like that.
Yeah.
Growing it into something bigger. But I really have no desire to go back to the traditional workforce.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, that's helpful. Okay, when you say
Yeah.
media company, like just talk to me a little bit about that. Like
Yeah.
what are you like what are you what excites you about that?
So, one of the clients that I found last year with my freelance work was a podcast representation agency.
Mm-hmm.
And I love listening to podcasts. I have for years, but this was the first time I actually got to see behind the scenes what the podcast world is like. And I found that I really love it. It's super
Mm.
exciting. There's so many different people that you get to meet that have stories to tell. And so, for part of that contract was actually podcast editing. So, I got to edit a podcast and see what
Cool.
that process was like, and
Yeah.
found that I really enjoyed doing that. So from there, I started my own podcast as just a hobby. And now I'm actually offering podcast production and editing services as part of my freelance work. And I think that that's something that I would like to do more of and scale, and maybe eventually, if I get to a point where I can like hire other junior editors and start maybe like a small agency type of thing. Um,
Cool. Okay.
yeah, I just kind of found my way into that and really enjoy it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm seeing the vision. I'm
Yeah.
seeing it come together. Okay. Um, so take me back. I'm looking at my notes. So like take me back to like November, December. You said you lost a couple
Mhm.
clients all at the same time. Were these clients like the individual people kind of thing, or was it an org? Like what was the nature of those
Yeah,
clients?
so one of them was an org, and I knew that that one was a temporary contract. I was filling in for someone that was on leave, so I knew that that one was coming up.
Okay.
What I didn't expect was how hard it would be to find more contracts. So I was kind of mentally prepared for, okay, I'm gonna have to hop back in and start, applying for more jobs and try to find something. But it was just like no traction at all. Like I wasn't getting interviews, I wasn't getting offers. Um, a couple of clients just said that they needed to pause the contract and didn't really say why. Um, and I had one that was consistent, but it was the lowest paid, and it was actually my very first client who I started out with a very, very, very low rate
Hmm.
and then
Okay.
kind of was stuck with that for a
Okay,
while.
got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and I'm sure more will unfold, but it feels like energetically you are focused and you are determined and you like this is what you want. There's no
Yeah.
kind of like existential like I feel like your talents and skills and focus are aligned here. You're a
Hmm.
good writer, you're a good producer, you the I think on a spiritual level there's no there aren't a lot of loose ends. Like it all feels pretty like tight and pretty secure. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty a little bit because I think that will help like reveal a little more. Okay.
Sure.
So I want us to think about like transformation, right? So like people come to you because they have a problem, you have a solution,
Mhm.
right? So like what would a typical problem solution be for a client who comes to you?
I think on the copywriting side,
Mm-hmm.
it could be time. So it could be that they just don't have time to strategize their communications. But I think it's also messaging. I am really good at writing. AI is kind of making me a little bit nervous about that, but um, the problem may be that they just don't have a good messaging strategy, or they need a consistent email kind of schedule, or
Mm-hmm.
a newsletter, that kind of thing, or their website needs refreshed copy, it has too much, it has too little, that kind of thing. So it can really just be helping with messaging, or helping them with their time and kind of organizing those things. And then on the podcast side, I find that the biggest challenge people run into is consistency and finding the time to put in. Because doing a podcast, especially if you're solo and doing it independently as a hobby, is very time consuming. It's not just sitting down and recording. You have to script, you have to research, record, edit, upload, market, all those things. I enjoy those things. So I want to help people with that. If they have a story to tell, I think they should be able to tell it, and I want to help them do that. So that's kind of, I feel like the podcasting one, it maybe is a little bit more clear. And then the
I feel
copywriting one is
like
not.
the podcasting energy is very different.
Okay.
You really light up when you talk about the podcasting,
Yeah.
and the writing part is a little bit more. I mean, I know you're good at it, but it feels a
Yeah.
little bit more like uh just lower energy. Maybe you've done it for longer or I
Mhm.
don't know. I feel like there's something about the podcasting thing that is really exciting for you. Okay, but
Yeah.
okay, so I wrote that down. But can we okay, let's talk about the messaging part.
Mhm.
Um, what would you say is like okay, actually I have a different question. Um, is there like in your business, is there like a okay, it's done? Like, okay, we're meant to work together for 4 weeks and then I'm handing over the assets. And so like you're done? Or is it more like an ongoing partnership maintenance? I'm trying to understand the kind of like cadence of what you offer.
I would definitely say the second one.
Okay, so like an ongoing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So in an ideal world, you are working with your client for 6 months, 12 months. Like what's the what is going to be best for you?
Yeah, so I've thought about that a lot, and I definitely want to work on getting long-term retainers, like minimum 3 months. That way, I'm not constantly
Yeah.
diverting energy to finding new work. And then that also, I think, will help me with the sustainability part of like
Yeah.
knowing that, okay, I'm getting this income, I can focus on the work. I don't have to spend so much time, wondering what's happening next month, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, from your experience, both like having worked at a nonprofit and now having worked with like all of these clients, which by the way is like really impressive that you've like made that jump and that you've just been like, okay, I've like worked this traditional life and now I'm just going freelance. Like it takes a
Mhm.
lot of guts and like you're doing it. So that's first off like amazing.
Thank you.
So from everything you've seen,
Mhm.
where do most people get stuck in their messaging? Is it like they're like talking too much? Is it that they're uh not understanding who their customer is? Is it that they're talking condescendingly? Like what's wrong? What's wrong?
I would say being really clear about the value that they're offering, whatever it is, and having a really clear call to action to get
Okay.
people to take action, whatever it is that they're trying to do. If it's a nonprofit, it could be like volunteering for something or donating. And then, of course, if it's a business or service, booking a service or purchasing a product, that kind of thing. And I also think that a lot of people, if they don't have a background in writing or messaging, think that more is better. And it's not
Yeah.
always that way. A lot of times people respond better, I think, if it's short and clear. Here's what we're offering. Here's what we want you to do.
Okay. Okay. So like the word I wrote down was CTA, like call to action, but then I also wrote
Hmm.
down like conversion
Hmm.
because I feel like um I kind of want you to go in with this energy of like, here's the problem that I'm going to help you fix,
Hmm.
right? And I feel like what you're talking about is taking people who land on the site or taking people who read your newsletter and actually having some sort of conversion engine so that it turns them into people who donate, people who volunteer, people like from passive to active.
Yes, I think that's exactly right.
Okay. What are some of the mechanisms that you use to do that? Like, um, you look for where the buttons are. You look for a
Hmm.
hook. Like, what are some of the mechanisms that you use in your writing?
I'm thinking because it's different depending on what the platform is.
Yeah.
So, like in a newsletter, I like to have a very clear button. Um,
Yeah.
read more, listen now,
Mm-hmm.
view services, just very clear. This is what you need to click on, tap on, and it's going to take you where you need to be. Um, social media, it may be something like if you're promoting, say, a podcast episode, then starting with like, what the listener is going to learn or get out of this episode. Here's the link
Mm-hmm.
to listen now, that kind of thing. So it
Mm-hmm.
really kind of depends on like what the desired conversion or action is, and then also what's being offered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think is your favorite type to do? Like is newsletter your favorite? Like email newsletter or is
Yeah.
website your favorite?
I mm, I like doing websites more.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I used to be a little bit more creative, but I haven't had as much work in that space. So most of what I do is email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so remember, this is like your first year and you're sort of forming what, okay, I think a lot of times what we do is we have a situation where like you're good at a lot of things. And so you want to go to the client and be like, I can do that. I can also do this. And if you need me to do this, I can do it. Right.
Hmm.
Because you can like teach it to yourself or you could, I mean, you get good at anything.
Hmm.
I think in the early days, it's counterintuitive, but I think you kind of have to like pick something
Hmm.
so that so you have focus and conviction. So when you're getting on a call with someone, it's almost more powerful to be like, oh, I don't do that.
Hmm.
I'm the email girl.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I mean, there was a time in my like business where I would be like, oh, I don't do resumes. I only do coaching. And like
Hmm.
then they'd be like, oh, great, let's do that. Because I came in with the energy of like, I'm the specialist in this thing. Because um in the beginning when you're like trying to get the client, well, okay, here's the thing. Eventually, you will do all of those things for your clients because they'll be like,
Hmm.
Annie, we love the work you've done and you're so great to work with. Like, we have this other, we're like dying over here. Can you also help us with this? And then, of course, you'll be like, yes, of course, I can do that. Right.
Hmm.
In the beginning, when they don't know you, they're just looking at you as like, oh, I have a problem and she has a solution. So I
Hmm.
think the more focused you can be around, like, I solve these two problems
Yeah. Okay.
would be helpful because especially like if it's a small business or if it's like a solo person,
Hmm.
their brain is like fried. So they can't make a decision. It's like hard, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So well, what do you think of that? And I might be wrong, but like what do you think of that when I say that?
No, I think that's kind of what I've been trying to convince myself of as well, because before I got into like more of the communication stuff, I was an executive assistant for years.
Okay.
And so I did everything, like a
Yeah.
little bit of everything, and I can do a little bit of everything, but that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do the VA, I don't want to do VA work. I want to be able to specialize in something so I can get really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think I have kind of, like you've been saying, kind of falling into like doing, whatever they offer for me to do, especially as I was just getting started, because I was like, okay, it's more work. Sure, why
Yeah,
not?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think focusing, definitely, I think that's something I need to work on.
Well, I think just in the beginning and then giving yourself permission at every step to like change because like once you like let's say you have okay, this is the other kind of fun thing about freelancing is like once you have three clients under your belt and they're sort of like steady and they're like pay the bills essentially, right?
Hmm.
Like you can always expand. You can always change your website and like change the messaging completely so that it's like now I'm not the email newsletter person. Now I'm the I don't know, AI person. I don't even know. Like whatever it is
Hmm.
in the future, okay?
Hmm.
So you just have permission to like change at any time, you know? Even if you have clients where you're like, "Oh, they're paying me less and we're focused on this random thing that I decided in March of 2026," like that can every client is like a new opportunity to like change your business basically. They don't
Yeah.
talk to each other, and they only work with you, so don't worry about that. Okay. So take me through like let's say I'm a potential client. What are the clients love structure. They love being
Hmm.
like being told like, okay, in month 1 we're going to focus on this. In session 2 we're going to do that. And
Hmm.
so what would be kind of the checkpoints of say a typical like okay yeah my email marketing is a hot mess, I need your help,
Yeah.
what are you going to do, like how are we going to work together?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In that case, I would want to see if you already have like an existing email, I don't know, platform or newsletter
Mhm.
that's going out regularly. And if so, how can we refresh it or update
Yeah.
it? And if you don't, what is your goal with this? How often do you want to communicate? Do you have a list of emails already to work with? So kind of figuring out like what the starting point is and then what you want to communicate, what your goal is, and kind of going from there, I think.
Okay, perfect. So I think that let's think about branding this.
Hmm.
Okay, so meaning like yeah, so the first I'm just gonna make stuff up, okay, but it'd be like okay, the first 2 weeks this is the audit phase
Hmm.
and here are the 5 things we're gonna do. um People like containers, so people like
Hmm.
yeah, I'm making it up, fill in your own numbers, okay, but it's like yep, for new clients I like to do, I, what I've found works really well is a 6 week program. The first 2 weeks is the audit phase. The next 2 weeks is, I don't even know, creative phase. And the final 2 weeks is like implementation and testing.
Hmm.
Again, fill in the blank. Um, people like to be people like to be domed a little bit and just like told what to do,
Yeah.
you know? So if okay, let's use an example. Okay, so I have an email list. I'm terrible at
Hmm.
emailing because this is all true. Psychologically, I'm like, I don't want to bother people.
Hmm.
People unsubscribe. It hurts my feelings. I don't send emails. Unless someone forces me to, I don't do it. Okay. So
Hmm.
let's say you and I had 6 weeks together. What boot camp regimen are you gonna like put me through?
Oh, okay. So I think, let me think on it for a second. I'm not good at thinking on my feet.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, take a minute and write
mhm.
some stuff down and we'll come back in like a minute.
Okay, can you repeat the question one more time?
Okay. Yeah. So hypothetical scenario,
Yep.
you have a client, they have an email list, they have something to sell, they have a brand, right? But they have not at all, they've sent like 2 emails. And obviously emails are good and emails lead to conversion. They're not sure how often to send the emails. They're not sure what to say in the emails. They don't want to bother people. So
Hmm.
they're like, okay, let's work together for 6 weeks.
Hmm.
What plan? What are we going to do over those 6 weeks?
Okay. Okay, so the first thing that comes to my mind is automation and just kind of setting up a system where you kind of, it's there, it's scheduled to go out, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. That's something that I work with clients a lot on is kind of planning emails in advance and then scheduling them, kind of all at the same time. That way they just go out. You don't even have to think about it every day. It's ready to go, and then you can reassess, if there's a special offering or something like that, we can do another one. But I think automating things takes a lot of that pressure off of like, oh, I have to send an email,
Yeah.
and a little bit of the pressure of like checking the stats. I think I personally can get a little obsessed with looking at stats and analytics sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to see like really good results, and if I don't getting discouraged. I think maybe other people struggle with that too. I don't know, but I think if you can automate it, it takes a lot of the work out of it. So you're kind of front loading the work, but
Mm-hmm.
then it's working for you and you can focus on other things. So delivering a good service or creating a good product, while your email is kind of working for you on getting conversions, building awareness, and in some situations, building a community if it's more of a community-based type thing,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And then as far as like, not wanting to bother people, like if people have signed up, like they're interested already, so they already have at least a little bit of interest and investment in it. I think if you're constantly spamming people, that's when people are going to be like, okay, I'm just going to have to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
But again, planning in advance, okay, we're going to send this out once a week or whatever it may be. And then also like with email, you have to think about your subject line and your pre-header text and that kind of thing. And I don't like anything that smells like clickbait.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Me neither.
yeah, I like it to be very clear. It can be fun or whatever, but anything that's like, you must read this, you must open this, I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I love how you just like dived right in and gave me like philosophy. You shared philosophy, right? Which is okay, there's automation. You don't have to think about this
Mhm.
all the time. and there's cadence. And then at the end, you spoke about authenticity, right? Which is like speak clearly, avoid clickbait. So these are all principles
Yeah.
that you as my email guru are going to teach me. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's take it a step further. Let's talk like lesson plan. Okay. Cause I'm a busy business owner. Okay. And I'm
Hmm.
hiring you because I like don't know what to do, and B, don't have as much time. Okay. So how are you going to break it down? So week one, I have to give you all the assets. Week
Hmm.
two, you're going to come up with subject lines. Week three, we're going to talk about cadence. Like, what are some, and you don't have to obviously plan it right now, but just like, what are some of the thoughts that come to your mind in terms of how would you structure this?
Hmm. I would want to get any, branded assets or guidelines that already exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, I would kind of want to have the permission and the space to take that and create kind of a prototype and say, here's what this could look like. Let me know your thoughts, and then kind of working from there.
Yeah.
I feel like I work a little bit better when I have like some creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
To at least, get it started and have something solid to show the client, and then get their input and tweak it from there versus, asking them for their thoughts every step of the way or doing it, together. Sometimes I feel like that just creates more friction and stalling and
Yeah. Yeah. You want to give them something to react to. Okay.
yeah.
And then I'll tell you as the potential client, when I heard that you wanted to do prototype, like I felt relief. I
Okay.
felt like, ooh, yes, I want to see how she's gonna interpret my stuff. This is exciting.
Hmm.
Okay. So I think like something that you could fiddle with offline is like coming up with the itinerary slash lesson plan
Hmm.
and put it, make just what do you think would work? 4 steps, 5 steps, 6 steps, maybe four.
Yeah, let's say four.
Okay, let's say there's 4 phases. Everything should be like when you're doing these pitches, everything should be like quantified, even though it's not. Like even though this is
Okay.
all fake and we're kind of just making it up, it's like we need to go in with a sense of authority. Like, okay, so 4 phases. Okay, take a minute and just write down a word or two for each phase. So phase one is, I'm assuming, audit or discovery, or like basically send me your shit and I'm going to take a look at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, take a minute and write down your ideas for like the 4 phases.
Okay. Okay, so I have audit, number two, clarity of goals, number
Mm-hmm.
three, drafting slash prototyping, and number four, implementation. And then I feel like I could add another one that's analysis a little bit after
Love
implementation.
it. Love it.
So yeah.
Okay. Um, how much are you going to charge for this?
Oh goodness. That's my second challenge is pricing. Um, it is a huge hurdle for me. Right now, on my website, I have services offered at fixed rates based on time estimates and pricing myself at $40 an hour. So I, it's like a mental block.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
That feels like reasonable. I think you
uh,
could go up to 50, if not more. But let's um if it was fixed price, if it was like,
Mhm.
this is the engagement that like, um, I used to do a thing and prices are weird, but people just need, if people will buy from you once, they'll buy from you 500 times because you're going to be good. Okay. So I used to price I used to do like resume writing and
Mhm.
I mean, it was like 3 rounds, very intensive. I was like in there fixing commas. It took forever. And I just priced it at $500. And if someone's getting on a call with me, they're already interested. And so I would just say the resume all in, fixed price, approximately 3 rounds of edits. It's $500. That was like enough for me to feel good about it. And it
Mhm.
was kind of this sweet spot where people were like, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's also like a thing that I'm going to use to get a new job. So, like,
Yeah.
it's also not a lot for what it is. So, I think having a product like that, because what you're selling is a product, right? Where it's
Mhm.
like, I'm going to take you through these 5 stages. It's going to take 4 weeks, a week per stage. Let's just make it up, okay? Let's call it 4 stages, 4 weeks. It's a 4 week thing, and it's how much?
Off the top of my head, I want to say like $600, but I'm very unconfident in that.
How many clients could you handle? Like if you were doing this for, let's say you were doing this for 5 clients, could you
Mhm.
juggle that, or does that become insane?
I I think I could handle that as long as the scope was very clearly defined. But if when scope creep comes in and, they want to have random meetings all the time or they're actually wanting to get this done as well, can I do that for them? That's when it gets out of control.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think define like this exercise of like defining this specific product is also good for you because you can decide frequency
Hmm.
of communication.
Okay.
So um you'll give it a name. So I don't know, call it, I don't even know, the gold package, something like whatever, okay? You'll give it a name
Yeah.
and you'll say you could even offer one where it's like, okay, I have 2 levels. One is like communication via email only, and the other is more high touch, more of like a hands-on service, and that is we meet once a week. And at
Hmm.
each of our meetings, I usually like to do it, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So it's just like on the calendar. At each of the meetings, I will present to you, like meeting one, it's the audit. So I will present to you, blah, blah, blah. Meeting two, it's the clarity. So we talk about your goals, and I have a worksheet that, like, I have a template that I will share with you, and I will fill it out ahead of time and you can read it. You know, Meeting three is like prototype, and this is where I'm going to share with you like the mock-up of what I've done, blah 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 blah. And we meet
Hmm.
for 45 minutes once a week, and that is, however, like, we have to price it depending on how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be for you to do it,
Yeah.
and then also who the client is. So if it's an individual, um you might price it a little more affordable just to get that experience under your belt,
Hmm.
versus like an org is going to be, you could like jack up the price a little bit.
Hmm.
I don't think okay, for 600, what am I getting for 600? I'm getting someone to look at my stuff.
Hmm.
I'm getting temp, like a I'm getting it designed.
Yeah, so a template.
I'm getting a template, which includes colors, fonts, the whole
Mhm.
thing. Maybe? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Or not. Maybe that's an upchart. I don't know. Okay, but okay. What else am I getting? I'm getting, you talked about automation. So am I getting 3 emails in queue already written? Like,
hmm Yeah, I would probably offer like at least a welcome sequence or
ooh,
something to kind of like build momentum.
okay. I love welcome sequence as the product.
Okay.
Like, um, okay, I'm gonna pretend to be you. So it'd be like, hi, I'm Annie. So I specialize in like email marketing, and one of my most popular products is this welcome sequence that I work with clients to do. It's super easy. We do it over 4 weeks. We work really quickly. We meet once a week for 4 weeks, and at the end, you have 5 emails in your welcome sequence,
hmm
and it's $575.
Yeah.
I mean, that's $100 an email. I mean, that's like, and then if you got four, three, four clients, then I mean, it's like not bad money, like,
hmm
okay. What else, like, welcome sequence could you do for people?
Um, like what other types of series
Yeah.
or other types of emails? Okay. Sales emails, so like a product offering or a service offering. If they have a regular blog or some kind of asset that they're promoting, sending that out. Um, I do something similar like that for one of my clients. It's a pretty long-standing client. Every Thursday, they send out an email that links to a specific page on their website, so a specific topic that they
Mm-hmm.
want to promote that week, that kind of thing. Um, Newsletters. I've done newsletters that go out once a month or once a week that talk about, several topics in one email. So that's
Okay.
something I've done as well.
Okay, great. Okay. So I wanna talk about the podcast stuff
Okay.
as well.
Yep.
Um, before we jump to that, what are your initial thoughts or reactions like to this idea of kind of like a welcome sequence or like a contained product that you can offer the
Mhm.
client? Are there any parts of it that you agree with or disagree with? Like, how do you feel in general about it?
I like it. I think it's really good for me to have something that is well defined and to have kind of like a rate, at least a range of a rate in mind. That way it takes the pressure off of me of like thinking about negotiating or, thinking too much about like, am I overcharging? Am I undercharging? Like, if I can just set it and forget it, I think that would save me a lot of time and stress. Um, so yeah, I think that's helpful and having something, well defined that I can offer people and make them feel confident in the investment that this is what you're going to get and kind of showing like you use the word authority, like, having the confidence to, have authority over this project and feel like I'm going to be able to get it done well and give them something that they're going to be pleased with. Hopefully, everyone's different, but uh, it's definitely more helpful than what I was doing before, which was pretty much just like, okay, tell me what you need,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
kind of
Well,
thing.
this
So,
because you can do like it's just a strategy to get the client. And then once you have them, then
mhm,
it'll turn into so much more. As you were
mhm,
talking, I had an idea where it was like, um, in terms of pricing, you let's say like you could say, okay, so I typically offer two types of packages, services, two types of sequences for clients because that's email language, right? So one type is the welcome sequence. That's like really popular because it just sets the stage for blah, blah, blah. Okay. The other is a more product based or newsletter thing, which is maybe they're both like you get 4 emails or 3 emails, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
In each of these, you get 3 emails, but one is a welcome and one is more product based or newsletter based. They are 500 each, but if you do them both, then it's 750.
Mm-hmm.
Just making it up,
Yeah.
and then like what the reason why I'm offering 2 things is like, I think that instead of the question of like, do you want to work with me? Yes or no. It's assuming you definitely want to work with me. Which package do you want to buy?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
want, and like, that's because it's the confidence of being like, I'm good, I'm going to help you. I'm very like good at what I do. I can either do just the initial thing and we just do the welcome. Or if you want to do like more than one sequence, then you get a discount for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 90% of people are going to be like, I'll just do the welcome one.
Mm-hmm.
But then great, now you have another client, right?
Yeah.
And then I used to do that. I used to be like, you can either do resume or you can do LinkedIn or you can do resume and LinkedIn and you get a discount. And I
Mm-hmm.
also used to say, and it was true, I'd be like, or you can, if you want to just start with the resume because you don't know what it would be like, we can start with that and you can always add on LinkedIn later. And I think that also gave them confidence to be like, oh, so you're not just like here to like make money. Like I can add it on at no extra charge later. Like, okay, great. Then I'll just do both now. Like, I got that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. So when it comes to the podcast stuff, um, are you offering, are you like a podcast strategist? Are like, how would you describe what you enjoy most about it? Is it the editing piece? Is it the um uploading piece? Is it the coaching them piece on like how to run a podcast? Like, what do you like most about it?
Hmm. I enjoy all of it, but I think what I like most is helping them share their story. So editing, planning, and then also promoting. So I guess that kind of ties into some of the like content marketing stuff that I've done before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, doing like writing the description or a promotional post for their social media saying, here's what it is and that kind of thing. I enjoyed that. Well, I don't like social media in and of itself. I don't like I've done a little bit of that for people where I like create stuff for their social media for whatever it is. That's my least favorite type of writing because I feel like the expectation, everybody wants to go viral. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just too
yeah.
much for me to handle. Like I cannot promise that. But if you have something that you care about, you want to share, yes, I like writing about that. But sorry, that was a long-winded
No,
answer.
that was perfect. That was perfect. Like I totally followed. So I think what you're saying is, or like what I heard is, um, you like helping people tell their story and
Yeah.
and help them. Okay, so take me into the psyche of a podcaster. Because like obviously if they've started a podcast,
Hmm.
they enjoy the talking part and the maybe
Hmm.
interviewing part. Where do you come in to support them? Because they're gonna probably be like an interesting, charismatic person. Are you
Yeah.
there? Like, how can you amplify what they're doing?
Hmm. what I can offer is creating a consistent, sustainable workflow
Okay.
and system that sets you up so that you don't have to think about all the behind the scenes stuff as much. So you have your podcast, you have your topic, you know what you want to talk about, you know who your audience is, who you want to reach, build a community, whatever it is. But then all of the moving parts of scripting, editing, uploading, promoting, all of the stuff that takes 90% of the time, like below the iceberg type stuff. I
Yeah.
think that's where I can offer the most value because, I enjoy the process of it. So I can come in and take that kind of off your plate. You can focus on what you actually want to talk about. And what I like to say is you get to focus on the fun part.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, just a quick question. So like, how are you focusing on the fun part for yourself?
Mhm. Like with this work or with podcasting as a hobby.
Well, I guess I get the sense that like you also have your own podcast. So
Hmm.
there's a part of you that like likes it and
Hmm.
does it for yourself for the joy of it.
Hmm.
And is that part gonna get overwhelmed by doing all this work for other people? I guess is my question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question because that's something that I've thought about too, is like I feel like I've spent all this time, like I've been in the working world for 10, 11 years now, full time. And I feel like I've never found my passion. Like people always tell me you need to find your passion. And I
Yeah.
feel like I finally found something that I'm passionate about, but I do worry that if I make that my job, I'm going to ruin it for myself. So that's another really big challenge that I'm kind of facing right now. The copywriting and things like that like feels a little bit more removed,
Yeah.
more neutral. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I have the answer right now.
Oh no, yeah, like I don't have the answer either. I just, you know, assume that there's a part of you who also chose this freelance life to have time for your own creative projects.
Hmm.
What's your podcast about?
Pop culture through a creative lens.
Ooh, like what
Yeah.
kind of pop culture? Like
So
Backstreet Boys or like
anything really that's popular in media. So music, movies,
oh, okay.
like I talked about the Superman movie, I talked about Harry Styles, like different stuff.
Oh my God, I love
Um,
it.
yeah, and I like to break down the creative themes and inspiration behind those things.
Yeah.
I've only done one season, and it was also a little bit like veering more into like my own creative process. So some episodes I ended up just talking about creativity in general. But I'm
Okay.
planning season two, and it's going to be a little bit more focused on the pop culture part. But yeah.
I love it. Um, well, it's something that was going through my mind, like as we were talking about the podcasting, I'll just share my like thoughts. Was at first I was like, oh, maybe she should pick one, like instead of doing email and podcasting. And then I thought, well, clearly it's podcasting because there's so much energy here. But then when you said the comment about you could just focus on the fun part and I'll focus on all the work, then I got
Yeah.
really scared for you. So it's like,
Okay.
no, don't do that. Like, because again, remember, like your background as an executive assistant, that's letting the person.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, don't VA yourself into. So that's why now I'm thinking if you had to pick one as your, because we want balance, right? So on one hand, you have this amazing like Harry Styles pop culture podcast. I know it's not just Harry Styles, but like you have that, and it's like exploratory and it's bringing you joy, and like it's just fun. And on
Hmm.
the other, you do have this like incredible expertise around email marketing, which is boring, but people need help with desperately.
Hmm.
So that was kind of the journey that my little thoughts went on. What do you think?
I think that's very accurate. And that's kind of like, yeah, one of the very first challenge I wrote down was positioning, like figuring out what it is that I'm gonna do for other people, for clients. Like, what am I offering people? And I've struggled with like, do I need to pick one? Do I need to somehow combine them? Like maybe I do email for podcasters. I don't know how much of a need for
I
that there
love it.
is. Um,
It's actually kind of
yeah,
fun.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think that's really smart. Okay. Um, what I'm feeling for the positioning is like I still think that you should have a product. Like I love the idea of like the welcome sequence. Like because I think as a consumer, I immediately know what that is. I want that, and therefore I want to pay you for it. Like that's the feeling. Okay. So I think you're hitting onto something with like the tangible product. I think the positioning question is like on the scale, you could go super tactical, open rates, subject lines, blah, 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 right? Or you could go more creative, which is what are you really trying to say in these emails? What's the cadence? What's the audience? How are we going to segment your audience to get the right messages to people who are bought into your brand but haven't purchased from you? Like, or just like even magical spiritual, like hey, emails are dry, but they don't have to be like, be yourself,
Hmm.
bring your voice onto the page, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So there's like different directions you can go. I think that you should lean into the creative.
Okay.
I think so because I think it's really easy to mm, do you know what I mean though about this difference between the two?
Kind of, yeah. Like there's the solid numbers of like open rates and click rates, which I do have. I have those on my website. But then there's also the like human piece, like you're writing for a human, you're not just writing for some kind of analytics measurement or something.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
I think like when you said the part about the email subject line, like when you think that it should be um really clear and not clickbaity,
Hmm.
like that's a philosophy, right?
Hmm.
And that I think would work over the long term. Um I just want you to be more creative in that space if you can. Like when you were saying like, "Oh, I can do a prototype for you." I got
Hmm.
excited because I was like, "Ooh, that's probably fun for her."
Hmm. Yeah.
So, I guess what I'm trying to say is like try to lean towards things that are fun for you,
Okay.
even in well, okay, let's try this. What would be like dreadful for you in terms of email? Like what is one thing where you're just like, ugh, like I don't want to do that.
Oh, goodness. Something that I wouldn't want to do. Maybe it's a good thing that nothing immediately comes to mind. I find email to be one of the more enjoyable things that I write. Um, okay. Yeah, what I don't want to be is a content farm. So like just like if someone values quantity over quality, I
Right.
don't really like that because then I feel like I'm just like pushing myself to get as much done as quickly as possible without having time to think about the quality of it, or how
Okay.
much it actually aligns with their goals. that's another challenge I've run into with some of the social media stuff is like people want a post for every single day or whatever, even if it's not really aligned in a larger strategy. And I just find that to be a little bit less enjoyable. And I like to feel like there's meaning to my work.
Yeah.
That's very important to me.
Yeah. Okay. Which is why I think when your second step of being clarity of goals is really important
Hmm.
because you
Yeah.
you also want to kind of push your client to like really think about what's the point.
Yeah.
Like what are you trying to do here? Like what is success? Is
Hmm.
success growing the number of subscribers you have? Is success getting people to volunteer for a good cause? Like what is the point, you know?
Hmm.
So I think that's like a good tenet for you. Okay. Let me just look at my notes for a second. If you did have to pick one, um, either like the podcast production or the writing slash emails, what would you pick and why?
I would pick podcasts because I really enjoy all parts of it. Like I enjoy the community. I think it's a really valuable medium. I think it's important because it's accessible. So if we dig like deeper into my values, then I think that sharing ideas and access to be able to have a platform to share ideas is really important just for society as a whole. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's part of what drew me to podcasts as well. Um, But I would also like to one day be, this is like my lofty goal. Like I would like to be someone who's known for being an asset to the podcast community. A
Yeah.
contributor, not just a consumer, not just a fan, like someone who's actually helped kind of build the platform.
Yeah. What do you think of the role of calling yourself like a producer? Is that what you want to be?
Oh yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like how I mean all the big like I love Good Hang with Amy Poehler
Yeah, that's a good one.
and she has like there's like the producer. It's like the same as having a producer on a show.
Hmm.
And it's kind of that right hand person who is doing all the things that you said, right? Like the content strategy, the preparation, the research, the helping overseeing the editing, getting stuff up, like just you're wearing a headset. You're that person, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so what if I said go all in, go chase the podcast producer thing? What would you say to that?
I mean, I love it. That's kind of I think what I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just kind of holding myself back a little bit because my work history supports the email stuff more.
What?
Um,
No, there's no energy
but
there, Annie. Like,
maybe that's why I've had such a hard time finding more clients. Maybe that's it's coming through.
because I
But
don't think you really want to do it.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, if I could do anything, it would be podcast production. Like if I didn't have to worry about the how and, that kind of thing, that would be it. I think that's pretty clear in my mind.
Yeah. I think you should just do it because you're going to be more successful.
Okay.
I mean, like if you split yourself and you had two of the same versions of yourself running parallel lives, and one is like banging your head on the wall trying to do this email stuff where you just really don't want to do it. And then the other is like happy and
Mhm.
excited,
Yeah.
you know, you just
Yeah.
need to imagine those two versions of yourself and which one are you going to pick? And like, I, I think that when it comes to the podcasting stuff, it's like, you don't need that much. I mean, you need one client and then all of a sudden you're a producer. You know what I mean? It's kind of the Wild West. Like, it's not like there's an accreditation to become a,
Right.
like, just, well, you have your own podcast and you help other people.
Yeah.
You know, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. It just almost feels like that too good to be true feeling. Which I mean, I don't know what that stems from. That's probably a whole nother coaching call. Um, honestly. But no, I mean, I do enjoy it. That is something that I would like to be able to say, like, yes, I'm a podcast producer and here are shows I've worked on and here's what I've helped people achieve. Um, long term, like I can see that. And that's something that I've always struggled with, especially
Yeah.
when I was working in an office, like traditional job.
Yeah.
I hated the question, where do you see yourself? I hated that because it was like literally like fog in my
You
mind.
were
I
like,
don't know.
I don't see my, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I would just be like, I'm here, getting my paycheck and doing my tasks, and I'm okay with that. But like, there was no vision. So I think that's also why I wanted to freelance, so I could kind of carve my own path.
Yeah. Well, the vision with the podcasting is really strong and it has been since like the first second of you talking about it. You know, I
Yeah.
think start small, right? Like see if you can be an assistant on one of these things. See if someone needs editing help, like just get a couple projects under your belt. And the I think just for the next couple months, it's like no task is too big or too small. You're just building up your repertoire, you're building up your expertise, and you know, it will lead somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty solid. That's I don't really have an argument against it or anything. So,
I just
um,
feel it's like so funny because we spent so much time like ironing out like what would the offering be for email? And
yeah.
it's like sometimes it's just like that, right? Where you will spend all this time and energy trying to figure something out only to realize like, yeah, I just don't really want to do that.
Yeah. 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 And like I said, it's like neutral. Like I wouldn't say I hate doing it or anything like that. It's just kind of what I fell into, as a starting point, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I said, I found the podcasting by doing that. Um, and then from there I just kind of was like, "Oh, let's see what else I can do in this field." So,
Yeah. Well, like how are you finding how did you find the podcasting thing? You said it was like a client who then asked you to
mhm.
help. Like how did you find that?
Yeah, so that was on a job board. I don't want to specify the company name because I don't know if YouTube, I just don't want to do that. But it was a pretty popular freelancing platform.
Okay.
Applied for it on there. They interviewed me, they hired me, and it was for like temporary marketing assistance. And
Okay, great.
so, yeah, so I did like marketing for their company, and then there was also a podcast, and then I would do marketing assets for that podcast. So the cover art and the descriptions and things like that. So,
Great. So you
yeah.
already have some of this stuff under your belt.
Hmm.
So I think it's just, you know, replicate that, you know, all you need is like a couple more, you know, maybe in the search, now you're searching podcast and now you're searching audio, you know, and then you already have some experience that you can point to say, oh, I've actually been doing this. I want to do more of it. Then you get a couple more jobs, and then all of a sudden, like literally in 9 months, you are a producer, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I need to focus. There's that word again. And figure out my strategy for like a thing that I want to do is get away from the job boards and start doing direct sales or direct outreach. Because
Good.
I'm tired of sharing my earnings with big companies. So, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Okay. So let me just take, why don't we both take a minute? I'm going to review what we've discussed. Um, Maybe you can reflect as well, and then we'll come back. Just if you want to take a minute and reflect on any ahas that you had. I find that it's helpful sometimes at the end to just like verbalize again for yourself the takeaways.
Yeah.
So why don't we each take like a minute and do that?
Okay. Okay. I lost track of time.
No, that's good. That's good. Um, okay, I want to just share with you that the two words that I wrote after our session were vision and meaning, because I think we touched on so many different topics, but at the end, it was like your vision for what you wanted was so clear. And we like went through the practical. And then
Hmm.
in the end, you were still pulled, like in the very beginning, you said, like, it's so funny because you were like, long term, I could see myself doing like podcasting and like podcast production. And it's just so funny because I feel like long term is now. Like you could just start doing it now. Um, and that there are no accidents. Like this excitement that you have, this pull is real. And if you're ever confused, like, because I think what'll happen now is like the universe will test you, and now you'll get like an email client. And they'll be like, we want to sign a 12-month contract where you just do email full time.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be looking for that email now. I bet you're right.
Say that like obviously do what you have to do, but as long as you know in your own self like the bigger vision,
Hmm.
and that you don't forget it. The thing is you can't forget it because you'll always be pulled back to it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So that was my takeaway. I would love to hear yours.
Yeah. So I definitely have more energy in podcasts. And I think what that means on a practical level is I'm going to be more driven to succeed. I'm going to have fewer excuses. I'm going to have more, I think, determination. And I think all around, probably a better experience for my client, because I'll actually really care and be invested in what I'm doing. Not that I don't care, about what I'm doing with the email
Of
clients, but
course.
it's less of like a personal values thing, I guess. Um, so what I need to do though that we talked about with each is clarify my products, what I'm offering and how much it costs. And then there's still the question about like, there's a possibility that I do this and then find that I don't enjoy it anymore or get burnt out, but I think that's probably a risk worth taking. And maybe it'll teach me to set boundaries, that kind of thing as well. But I am going to be very mindful of that. I don't want to, um, sell out to the point where I'm like focusing on how much money I can make versus like offering sustainability and that kind of thing. And I need to trust the path. That's what I wrote down. I need to trust the path.
Yeah, trust the path. I wrote down no accidents.
No accidents. I
No
like that.
accidents. So, okay. Well, Annie, this was fun.
This was fun. Oh my gosh.
Thank you again so much. Um, it's this was the first one that I've recorded in a while, of like
Okay.
these coaching sessions. So I'm excited to put it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you doing any others too?
Yeah, I have like one other on the schedule,
Okay.
early April. But I want to do more. I have this vision of like having a hotline where people can call. Like I just want to have a
Oh,
show where I just
cool.
like do this. But I think in the meantime, I have this idea of like people could have like a hotline where they call and leave a voicemail and then I like respond to it.
Yeah. Almost like an advice kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Advice
want to like
column.
I've always wanted to do like an advice. Like I've
Yeah.
always wanted to do I've always wanted to be like a dating or life advice coach, like
Yeah. Very
so
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I know when you did other coaching sessions, I enjoyed watching them. And I think I told you in my email, like I've drawn stuff from that I still think about. There was one where you asked someone like if they went to their favorite bakery and they knew exactly what they were going to order, what kind of feeling does that give them? And I think about that a lot.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
so yeah, I've really enjoyed all your content. I can't wait to read your book. Super excited.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much for your time today too, and giving me this gift. This has been really helpful.
Of course. I'm super excited. I will be following up because I want an update. Um, and even though I love the welcome sequence, I really don't want you to be doing that. Who
Fair
cares?
enough.
Who cares?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, well, have a great rest of your day and thank you again.
All right, you too.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. Bye.